Hi, welcome to LaDuke's Creations. I'm Charity. Today we're going to be making a fabric basket. It will be like this, but it will be a little bit bigger. So we have our main fabric that is 18 inches by 18 inches. And we also have the fusible fleece that's 18 by 18 inches. We have our lining that is 18 inches by 18 inches. And since my interfacing is not 18 inches wide, I cut it down to where it will be 18 inches. So, um, you're also going to need some kind of buttons as well. I chose these little heart gear buttons to put on, and I also have my label as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the interfacing and the fusible fleece put on, and then um, once we get those together, we're gonna face these on top of each other, and I will show you what we're gonna do next. All right. Okay. So now that we have our fusible fleece attached and also our fusible interfacing, I do use a medium weight for my interfacing on these. Um, all right. So we're gonna move on to the next step, which is going to lay these on top of each other, just like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to, before I pin it, I'm going to mark a 3-inch opening. So that way, when I go to flip this, or so, I know where to leave my gap. Okay, so we'll get those pins, the clips. And you can flip this or you can pin it. It's your choice on what you want to use. Alright, so I'm gonna take this to the sewing machine. I'm gonna change up my thread, and we're gonna back stitch where this opening is on both sides, so that way when we flip this, it's not gonna rip our stitches. So when we get this top stitched, or not top stitched, my bad, uh, we're gonna be sewing 1/4 of an inch all the way around it. You can use a 1/2 inch, it's just your preference on what your seam allowance is or what you want it to be. I'm just using 1/4 inch, and when I get that done, I will be right back. Okay, so once we have um, our pieces sewed together, and you're gonna clip your corners, you can. This is gonna reduce some bulk in your corners, so it'll be easier for them to turn out. Okay, so our next step is to get all this flipped through. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna top stitch all the way around this at 1/4 of an inch. And let me get that done, I will be right back. Alright, so since we have our piece top stitched, we got our hole sealed up. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold this in half. So I want the bubbles to be on the outside and this lining on the inside. So we're just gonna line everything up. And what I found is easier to do with this part is match everything up, pin it, and then we'll save a few for in a minute. Okay, so we're going to be um, making some lines, and we're going to be sewing these, and that's what's going to create these pockets. Now you can do this on either the outside or the inside. It's just reversed. Okay, so on this one, we're going to use our markings on our board, our cutting mat, and we're gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to mark, and then we're gonna do the same over here and mark. Then with our smaller ruler, oh, I may need my bigger one for this one. Hang on a sec. Okay, we're just going to connect those dots. Okay, Okay, so once we have that mark, we're going to come over here and we're just going to pin so that way nothing is shifting or moving on us. We're going to do the same thing over here. So we're going to count up 4 inches, we're going to mark. And then we're going to come over down here 4 inches and mark. We'll connect our dots. Okay, just like that. And while we're at it, we're gonna unpin this. Yes, I just confused you. My apologies. So we're gonna flip it the other way. We're gonna repeat the same steps that we just done. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, mark, mark. Right. Now we can go through and pin or clip. Okay, so we're going to be sewing on these lines that we just drawn. Okay, so once you get these two, take your clips off, and you're just going to open it up and fold it in half again. So these marks that we made on this side, they're going to be on your sides just like it is right here, and you're going to sew them. So we'll get that done, and then we'll be right back. All right, so now that we have our ends sewed together, so you can see how it's starting to take that box shape now, right? So while I was at it, I got my label sewed down. All right, so now what we're going to do is, for right now, we're going to fold our sides down. All right, now you can choose to leave these open like this, or what you can do is fold them up and put a stitch in like an arrow going up, or you can just stitch across. And then that's going to create a pocket for outside. So I think what I'm going to do is, like how I done with this one, is I sewed right across, right in here, and I think that's more than likely what I'm going to do. So this part I do pin just to make it easier at the sewing machine. And it just holds them open so that way you can stitch crossed. Alright, so once we get that done, get those sewed down, then you're gonna need, if you're wanting to install buttons like I do, you're gonna need a hand needle and also matching thread. I'm gonna use the same kind of thread that I've been sewing with, so I just end up taking that out of the machine um, to do that. And all right, so let's get this part sewed down, and I will be back, and we will get our sides sewed down. All right. Okay. So now that we have these sewed on, they're actually pretty neat. Um, for like your yarn or stuff like that. It's really big. Um, or for a storage container for your fat quarters or whatever you would need it for, hair ties, bathroom supplies, whatever. All right, so now we're going to attach our buttons. So I will usually line them up and then where I'm going to be putting them. And just for the time being, I'm going to clip it like that until I get my needle ready to start going through it. And then I'll go from the back so that way I can hide my knot. And I'll go completely through. And I'll do this a few times just to make sure that that button is pretty secured. And once I have the button on there, um, like getting the first stitch on there, then I just take that clip off and just keep going on it. Alright, so instead of you sitting here watching me wrestle with this, I'm gonna get these buttons on and I will show you what it looks like afterwards. Alright, so this is our finished box, fabric box basket. Um, this I actually just started learning how to make a few days ago, and I absolutely love making them now. Um, so these buttons, I just went through it about 4 or 5 times, and then I tied it off in the back. You can't really tell because on the inside, the thread is kind of matching it, so I mean it's not really standing out too bad. Um, so yeah, I mean you can stick uh like your fat quarters in there. If you have 1 yard pre-cuts, you know, you could stick them in there and you have plenty of room. This will actually hold quite a bit. So, I mean, they're good for a lot of things. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and make sure that you subscribe so that way you get notified when I post a new video. Thank you for watching me today and God bless.